Episode 300, Different Motives. The reporters weren't interested in why David's friends had shown up. They just wanted to watch the downfall of the Drake family. That was the story that would make them a lot of money. It didn't matter to them how long it had taken the Drakes to build the Fidelity Group into a successful business. And even though its collapse would damage the city's economy and put many people out of work, they simply didn't care. The only important thing was their ratings, and they had no empathy for anyone. "Listen," Jason called them. "I have something to say." The press turned their attention to him. "We've all come here today to send a message to the people responsible for this attack on the Fidelity Group," he said. "With our support, the Drakes will not be defeated so easily. The Drake family will always come out on top, and the Fidelity Group will be prosperous once more." The others joined in. "Yes, we support the Drake family. The top families are united in this. The Drakes will survive. Their attackers will not win." Daryl felt compelled to speak up. "The Drake family will soon get through the crisis, and they'll be more powerful than before." The reporters were paying attention now, impressed by this show of strength. The combined wealth of these men's families were considerable. The sound of camera shutters was loud as the reporters captured the moment. "The Marvel family also supports the Drakes." Everyone turned around to see where the voice had come from, and they saw Charles Marvel approach his daughter, Lindsay. They walked over to David. "It's obvious that someone is trying to destroy the Drakes," Charles said to the reporters. "But as David's in-laws, we will stand by the Drake family throughout such difficulties." When Alex had taken Debbie back to Baltimore, the Drakes had agreed not to reveal the true identity of Leona and to conceal the fact that Debbie was related to the Cliftons. As far as the rest of the world was concerned, David and Leona were married. When enough time had passed, David would announce that he and Leona had gotten divorced. In the meantime, David had told everyone that Leona was traveling the world and would be gone for months. With David having married into the Marvel family, the reporters felt it was natural for the Marvels to support the Drakes. "Mr. Marvel," one reporter said, "with everything that has happened, will Leona be returning to support her husband?" "Leona is very concerned about the current situation," Charles said. "She has already talked to David on the phone. Unfortunately, she can't come back right now because of a visa problem, but she wholeheartedly supports the Drake family. For now, we must focus on helping the Drakes solve this crisis." "Thank you," David said, surprised that Charles and Lindsay had come. "Let's go and see my father." Charles nodded. "Join us," David said to his friends. "Come on," Jason said, leading the others into the building. The reporters at the door tried to rush inside, but the security guards stopped them. Another luxury car had also driven up to the building, but had stayed back, keeping a low profile. Colin and his father Joseph sat in the car, watching as the others spoke up in defense of David. "Sycophants," Colin said, sneering at them. "The Drake family is doomed and you're all wasting your time fawning over them. Well, just wait until the Pattersons take over this city, and then we'll see if you lick my boots." Colin took out his phone and called Noah. "Colin," Noah said, his tone respectful. "Are you ready?" Colin asked. "I'm about to take control of all of the Drake family's assets." Joseph looked at his son's ferocious expression and felt a little uneasy. "Yes, I'm ready," Noah said. "I've been working on the other executives, and I've already persuaded 11 of them to resign. Once they do, it'll cost the Fidelity Group another $1 billion. He paused. But they do have quite costly demands. They want $100 million, and your guarantee that they'll keep their current positions once you take over. Colin smiled. Whatever, he said. Tell them I'll give them everything they ask for as long as they help me. Nathan Ambrose had promised to provide $35 billion for Colin to buy out the Drake family. Once Colin had done so, he would have plenty of money. I'll tell them, Noah said. Retold has called all the senior executives in for a meeting, and then I'll complete my task. I'll be waiting for your good news, Colin said, ending the call. Are you really going to buy out the Drake family? Joseph asked, concerned. I thought you were joking. Last night, when Colin had told him he had a backer who would provide the money to buy the Fidelity Group, Joseph had thought his son had gone mad, and he hadn't taken him seriously. Then, on his way to work this morning, he had seen Colin preparing to go to the Fidelity Group headquarters. When Joseph had asked, Colin had said that this was the day he would buy the Drake's family business. Joseph was worried about Colin, so he had come with him to see what he was up to. But now that he had heard Colin talking to Noah, he suspected Colin had been telling the truth. Dad, when did I ever lie to you or cause you trouble? Colin asked. He smiled at his father. Even as a child, Colin had been a good boy, and Joseph had never had to worry about him. Never, Joseph said. But who gave you $35 billion, and why? Are you sure you can trust them? What if they let you down and offend the Drake family? You know how powerful the Drakes are. Joseph didn't like this at all. Why on earth would anyone give Colin that much money? He won't let me down, Colin said. He wants me to be his puppet in Washington, D.C., and the money is nothing to his family. $35 billion is nothing. Joseph's mouth hung open. Are you crazy? No, I'm perfectly sane, Colin said, rolling his eyes. My backer's family lives in the shadows, but they're seriously rich, wealthier than anyone you can think of, and they have influence all over the world. Joseph gave him a skeptical look. My backer is the heir to this family, so you don't need to worry, Colin said. Just relax and enjoy it. After today, the Pattersons will be the top family in Washington, D.C., and you'll be the father of the richest man in the city. Really? Joseph was stunned, but he decided to wait and see how things would develop. David and his friends walked into the office, and Retold was surprised to see all these people. Dad, my friends have come to support us, David said. Thank you, Retold said, standing up to greet them. One by one, they shook his hand. You're welcome, sir. We're David's friends, so his problems are our problems. When I was a child, I often came for dinner in your home. David's like a brother to me. Of course I want to help. My family have always been friendly with yours, so let's deal with your problems together. The Drake family were involved in so many things in Washington, D.C. that many other businesses were connected to them. If the Drake's company collapsed, then their businesses would be affected too. But that wasn't the main reason they had come. These men had grown up with David, and as children, David had been their leader. Whenever anyone had dared to bully any of them, David had helped and protected them. He had never made a fuss about it, but the others had all looked up to him. Later, David had studied abroad, and they hadn't seen much of him, but they all still revered him as much as ever. In the past, David had fought and bled for them. So now that he was in trouble, How could they not help? They were all determined to support David through his difficulties.